Wow, what's good, family? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Broadcasting Community. Shout out to the Louisiana All American Sports Network. And shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. This morning, we getting ready to break down season one, episode 5 of The Wire in our Wire analysis series. This episode is called A Pager. I'm with the two kings with me. We the three kings of this Wire analysis talk. First and foremost, salute and good morning to my brother 78 Sports TV. What's good with you this morning, bro?
Doing good, brother. Happy New Year to everybody in the building, man. Salute to you, fam.
Man, happy New Year to you, bro. And salute and happy New Year to my brother Jared 11 Green. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain. I'm glad to be on live with my brothers. And Happy New Year. Y'all have make sure you have a hope y'all have a blessed New Year, man.
Yeah. Everyone within the sound of my voice. Hopefully, all is well with everyone. Hopefully, everything is going well with you thus far to this point in 2025. We getting ready to pop it off. We're not even going to delay. This is season one episode of The Wire, the pager. In a synopsis of the show, McNulty's detail finally gets clone pagers to track the Barksdale organization and the entire crew, but nobody can crack the codes used by the callers. In the opening scene, Avon is with his one of his pretty young girlfriends at her apartment. Someone called the phone and hung up. He asked, "Who is it?" And she said they hung up without saying. Then she said, "What do you care? You never use the phone here anyway." So Avon seems somewhat paranoid. He looks out the window and he sees Weebay's SUV because Weebay is there to pick him up. And he sees some youngsters diagonally across from Weebay's SUV. Avon points at them and Weebay backs up and he cocks his pistol. But the youngsters have some sports equipment and they have some hockey gear and they get into a truck. So Bay picks up Avon as someone pages him. Avon tells Weebay to get the phone lines out the house. Bay responded by saying, how is Shantae gonna feel about not having a phone in her own apartment? Avon just looks at him and Weebay said, "I got you." He said, "It seems like we are paranoid and overly cautious at this point." Weebay pulls up to a payphone and Avon said, "Nah, I used that payphone yesterday. Take me to another payphone. I want to use another payphone." Weebay Weebay took in a deep breath, and Avon is like, "Why you blowing out your mouth? You acting like I don't have enemies. You acting like people not out to get me." Next, Omar sets up a robbery, and he said these East Side boys are gonna be easy to get because they're nothing like Avon's people. In the next scene, Judge Fallon and Rhonda Perlman go to the unit's office to bring them all the necessary paperwork for the pager clone. Judge Fallon also told McNulty and Griggs that they are sending a clear message with the location of the office. Then they are sworn under oath after they signed all the necessary paperwork. And then thereafter, they get the clone pagers. Next, Omar and his crew rob the East Side boys. He has on a trench coat, he has a shotgun, and he's walking down the street whistling a farmer in the dale as people are running away. Next scene, Bodie and Poot are sitting in the courtyard on the famous, infamous orange couch arguing about can you catch HIV through unprotected oral sex? And you can. D asked Bodie, how would you know? And they started laughing. Bodie asked Poot who he's trying to smash. And when Poot said the name, Bodie said, "Yeah, wear one. Wear a big one. Wear a trash bag." He said, "I wouldn't smash her with these peckers." Evidently, she's a 304 in the thought pocket. Wallace is playing with a toy, and Bodie uh, picks up a 40-ounce bottle, and he throws it at the brick wall above Wallace's head. One of the pieces of glass cut Wallace's forehead. D steps to Bodie, and then he gets a page on his beeper, and he says, "Forget it." The unit realizes the pages aren't working. Phone numbers, in code. D'Angelo and Stringer are standing and talking in the courtyard about the cops and the robbers giving them problems. String thinks there's a snitch in the crew, so he told D to hold everyone's money, and see who doesn't need money by the end of the week. He said the person that's still holding is the snitch. Then Poot is talking to someone on the phone. String told him to go handle it. And D checks him, slapping the phone out of his hand and saying, "What the F are you doing? Like, we have rules." Next, Greggs and McNulty are sitting on Omar's Lane. McNulty calls his ex-wife. And basically, him and his ex-wife get into an argument. And then he calls her a female dog or Bia. And Kima was like, "Did you call the mother of your children a female dog?" He was like, "No, I didn't." He said, "I said a lesser man would." Next, McNulty starts to put together a bedroom set for his kids. Herc and Carver try to pull a good cop, bad cop routine on Bodie after they pick him up. And he sees right through this entire plot between the two of them. So basically, Carver asks Bodie, he was like, "Look, man, hey, I came up like you. You kind of remind me of me. Like, what could I do for you that, so we can get what we trying to get?" And Bodie scooted up to him and he told him, basically to suck me off. And Carver got upset and started beating up Bodie. And Hurt was supposed to be the good cop. He got to pull Carver off of Bodie, and then they both start beating him up. All right, D takes his girl to a nice high-end restaurant. The next, Herc and Carver bring Bodie to the juvenile detention center. Next, D asks his girl if she enjoyed the food. He also asks if people know what he's about. He feels like he doesn't belong, and his girl reassures him that people don't know him. They don't know what he's about. Like, he don't have nothing to worry about. Next, Herc and Carver are shooting pool at the juvenile detention center. Next scene, Avon and Stringer are talking in his office. The juvenile intake officer arrives to process Bodie. Next, Avon and Stringer basically give Stinkum an opportunity to open up a new territory. And Avon told Stinkum that, basically now he all salary. He going to get a percentage of, what he sells. He going to get points on the package. And thereafter, Avon and Stinkum go on a money run. Next, Bump gets the ballistics report. And they find out that the gun that was used to delete Deidre Crescent iced two other people also. Next, Bubbles visits Johnny and finds out Johnny has HIV. Bubbles told Johnny that he's working with the cops and he's snitching. And Johnny isn't cool with it. Johnny wants some H, and Bubbles tells him the package is weak everywhere at this point. McNulty talks to Layman in his office. Next, Wallace and D let some money go. No, Wallace asks D to let some money go because they struggling. Next, McNulty gets the info on the cases tied to the Deidre Crescent case. Then Bunk and McNulty goes to visit Deidre Crescent's friend. And basically, she tells a story about how Deidre was dating Avon, but she started getting possessive. She started getting jealous. And him and her had a huge confrontation at Orlando's. In addition to that, she also talked about how she threatened to go tell the cops on Avon. And basically, she was saying that it was a bad idea, but Deidre was off the hook and she couldn't be controlled. Next, D is at Orlando's talking to Orlando, and D asks, and basically Orlando, D asks Orlando, like, basically, hey, running this club should be like being in heaven. And Orlando said, dealing with all these brillas and all their problems for a few days. You'd rather run a laundromat. And then they start laughing. So they start talking about Avon, like how Avon isn't paying them well enough in their opinion. They both have the same issue. They both feel like they should be getting more money. So they're talking about how Stinkum is coming off salary and he's starting to get paid a percentage, points on the package. There's a commotion with D's pretty young little love interest because she finessing the dude out his money. So D asked her why she did that. And he asked her, did she steal his money? And she denied it. And he gave her a C note, $100 bill. Then he stepped to her and asked to see her outside the club. And she said she usually doesn't meet guys outside the club. So basically, initially she shot him down. And then she said, usually I don't. So she pretty much agreed to meet with him outside the club. McNulty, Daniels, and Griggs are sitting outside Orlando's, scoping the place out. D walks outside the club and gets a page. We also found out while the three of them sitting in the car talking that they also found somebody connected to Omar. He had got iced also, and they found 39 shells from 3 different burners. Omar tells Brandon that it's not like him to be late. Presbeluski tells Griggs and McNulty that he pays them, and they claim they didn't get the page. He was like, well, you would know the number if you knew the code. So basically, he told them that he cracked the code. He was saying that there's no math involved. You know, he likes to work on like crossword puzzles, Sudoku puzzles, things of that nature. And as a result, he was able to figure out the code. There's no math involved. It's simple. All you have to do is take the numbers on the phone with a range and jump to 5. So he explained the code, and basically he was able to crack it. Avon, D, and Stinkum visits Avon's brother in the nursing home. So Avon is talking to D, and he was like, it scares you, don't it? And D was like, yeah, you know, he kind of scared. And basically, you know, Avon is talking to his brother. His brother's in a vegetative state. Evidently, his brother got maybe shot or whatever the case may be. And he's kind of somewhat brain dead at this point. So, you know, Avon is telling D that if he would have been deleted, you know, Avon would be able to handle it better or carry it better. But the fact that he's just sitting there in a vegetative state, like it's kind of hard for him to process. It scares him also. And basically he was saying that, you know, his brother used to talk a lot of trash back in the cap. And he was like, hey, talk that trash now, baby. You know what you talking about now. And of course, he can't say anything because he's in a vegetative state. And then basically, you know, Avon is talking to D. He giving D some good game. And he was like, basically, to be in the game, you got to be perfect. Like, how you never going to be a little bit slow? How you never going to be a little bit late? How you never going to make a mistake? And he was saying, you know, just a little different little things about the game. And he was trying to give D some advice. But, of course, you know, D, when it comes to certain things, you know, he's very intelligent. But he's kind of morally conflicted from the standpoint of, you know, he really don't have the heart for the game. And we talked about this on multiple occasions. McNulty and Griggs are sitting on Omar's van again. And they follow him to a cemetery. And they have a conversation with Omar. And basically Omar tells them that Stitching rubs him the wrong way. He don't think the game is played that way. So McNulty goes to pick up his kids, and his ex is now home. Towards the end of the episode, Freeman tells Daniels that he needs to talk to him. They both working late in the office, and Freeman tells him that he knows Daniels is interested in climbing the career ladder, but he was telling him basically this case can hinder that for you, you know, if you do it right, because basically, you know, if you follow the drugs, you know, you just get the D boys. But he was like, once you start following the paper trail, you know, you're going to run into some enemies from a political standpoint, and it's going to cause you some issues. He was like, me personally, he was like, I don't want to go to a dance, you know, unless I could rub on some breasts. So he was like, you know, basically, just me kind of paraphrasing it. Like, hey, if I can't get it my way, like, there's no sense in me climbing this corporate ladder, just climbing the career ladder in general. So next, Wise and Poop see Brandon at the Greeks, and they call D calls String, and basically they set it up because they already was sitting on Omar. Omar was, I guess, in his courtyard at another project building, and Weebay was on Omar. Omar had a jersey on, and it was Weebay, Stringer, Bird, and Stinkum in the SUV. And once they get the call about Brandon being at the Greeks, they go over there and they take care of that situation. And then at the end, String calls D to tell him the job is done. Good work by everybody. Good work by him and his crew. And basically, the episode ends with the clone pager going off and getting the numbers. And basically, it just kind of verifies that they were able to get Brandon. And we know what happens in the next episode. So that's it for my breakdown. I'm getting ready to turn it over to my brother Jared 11 Green. The floor is yours, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that brief recap for those needed a recap for the episode. So going into the questions. So it says in the beginning of the first episode or the episode, Avon is very paranoid. Do you think he's justified in feeling that way, or is it Weebay right about him being too cautious? So basically, is Avon tripping for being too paranoid, and Weebay is he right and just tell him just relax, everything cool?
Starting with me.
Yes, sir.
I think I was impressed by Avon's paranoia. To be honest with you, I don't think it was paranoid. I think it was him being cautious, him being alert. Yeah, him being cautious, him being alert. I think all of that, helped him um, because Avon. I was like, okay, because Avon ain't no dummy. He peeping stuff because that's how you got to be if you in a position that he's in the streets. You have to look at people outside. You got to always expect somebody out to get you, and not using the phones and stuff like that. Not using the same phone you used yesterday. You don't want to have habits. You want to be unpredictable because unbeknownst to Avon, the police actually was already upon them phones and stuff like that. So he was already ahead of it, trying to be cautious and what I mean, and trying to keep himself out of any situation that get him locked up. And I thought his paranoia was justified. I think Weebay was too relaxed.
I agree, and I see what Antoine X Davis. Uh, Glad you in here, brother. Nice seeing you. He said, Avon don't want shit to do with jail. Paranoia is justified. Yeah. And Dwayne Price, again, welcome, brother. Uh, Says Wallace wasn't made for the streets. That's why D was trying to save him. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, salute to everybody, dropping in, checking us out.
It's crazy that
Salute to Dwayne Price, salute to Anton X Davis. And just to kind of answer your question, I think the general was 100% accurate. One thing I noticed, I haven't been, close to like kingpins on Avon's level, but I know, in a rural area I'm from, like the little local, like big time D boys. It's like once they get to a certain point, like they too relaxed, too laid back, and they get kind of sloppy, and that's how a few of them I've known like to get like 10 years, 15 years, and they kind of end up being like perpetual offenders. That's how they kind of get caught up because I mean everybody pretty much know everybody where I'm from, and in addition to that, like once you get to a certain level, I guess you get sloppy and you feel like you're untouchable, and I think that's what get a lot of those guys caught up. Whereas Avon, he's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Uh, he's, Weebay might think he's overly cautious, but realistically speaking, he's justified being paranoid from the standpoint of Hey, he don't want to go to jail. Uh, he don't want to get caught by any of his enemies or adversaries. So I feel he's justified in being overly cautious. I think he's taking the proper precautionary measures, if you ask me. So I don't think he paranoid. I think he's where he should be, if you ask me, from a mental standpoint.
Okay. Um, Before we move on, anybody else got something to say on the, regarding the first question? All right. We can move on. All right. Uh, the next question, it says, even Judge Fallon noticed that the unit was sent a clear message with the location of the unit office. Do you think upper management should have been more subtle about the message they were sending?
You repeat the question one more time, brother. My bad.
No, you good. Even Judge Fallon noticed the unit was sent a clear message with the location of the unit office. Do you think upper management should have been more subtle about the message they were sending?
I don't really understand the question, bro. I might have missed the part in the episode
No,
or
no,
something.
no. Well, at the beginning, towards the beginning of the episode, even Judge Fallon know, like, hey, like basically they got y'all in a nowhere office. So the people, the higher ups are like, they heated, but the whole situation. So basically, they put them in an office that, like, it's kind of out nowhere. Judge Fallon almost went to the loading docks instead of going to the actual office. So in terms of the upper management, do you think they should have been a
Right,
little
right.
bit more subtle about where they put them? Like, they shouldn't have been so, hey, we just want y'all to, we just trying to bury y'all with this case. We really don't want it to go
Oh,
nowhere.
I like okay. You saying okay? I see what you're saying. Like obviously, well, no, they ain't have to be so. I mean, they the bosses. At this point, they if they want to put the fuck to them and they want them, excuse me, if they want them to fail, they want them to fail, and or they punishing them for this for this whole case situation, where they feel like people didn't follow the chain of command and all of that. It makes sense. It makes sense why they would do that. That's just politics. That's what they do in real life. People should screw you over instead of helping solve cases and stuff like that. They screw you over. Now I don't think they don't have to be settled. What's the consequences? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to them.
That's true. Coach, what you think?
I think 7 and 8, right, to a certain extent. Uh, the portion of it I'm gonna disagree with is from the perspective of when you're sending that type of clear message. A lot of times, it when people in the unit feel like it's a dead end type job, like the morale is low. That's why you had people like Ox that they really didn't want to be in this unit. I mean, of course, he an alcoholic on top of that. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know, probably for the exception of McNulty, Greggs, Daniels, and Freeman, like the other people in the unit really didn't want to be there. To a certain extent, Presbeluski and Hurt, they screw ups anyway. Carver, he kind of in the middle. So I think when you send such a like overt message from the standpoint of, hey, we trying to screw y'all over, we want this case to go nowhere. On a job like that, it kind of the morale is low. From a teacher perspective, it's kind of like the equivalent of being at a failing school, and every time the students screw up or something go wrong, they blame you, even though, like, hey, I only been teaching this student for this year. Like, what happened to the other 13 years, 12 years this student was in school? So you can't blame me for this student being an F up their whole school career. So, when you're on jobs like that, like the morale is low. So I think 7 8, right? There's no ramification and repercussions for upper management sending such a harsh message, but at the same token, like, the people that's working on that job don't want to be there. So, you got to kind of take that into consideration also.
So, with y'all saying this, saying both y'all perspective, and I'm not saying this. We do know Jimmy is opportunist, but is he right from that perspective? Since you already know if the upper management is not going. They just throwing crap on the walls, hoping it stick because they really don't want, not really care about the case. And I'm not talking from the aspect of him um, making Lieutenant Daniels look bad and making everybody else, the situation hot for everybody else, but just for him knowing that upper management doesn't care about the case.
Yeah, I think McNulty knows the game, and you know he understands every aspect of what's going on from a bureaucratic standpoint, from a political standpoint. Like you said, my issue with him is that he doesn't respect the chain of command. Like he's overtly disrespectful to his superiors. You know, by refusing to go on the bus with Daniels in the unit, like that's some bull jive. And basically, he knows that they're really not trying to solve cases. It's all about politics. So he understands the game, but the way he goes about it is like, bro, you can't be so rogue and so rebellious. Like at the end of the day, in real life, McNulty would have got fired a long time ago. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
I don't like the way he went about stuff. He was right uh, about the bureaucracy and the politics of it, but at the same token, like, bro, you don't have to be a scumbag piece of trash butthole.
okay, all right. Next question. So it says, if there was an actual confrontation between D'Angelo and Bodie, what do you think about? What do you think would have happened?
I think D'Angelo would have probably beat him up. I know D'Angelo's a little older, a little more experienced. Bodie was wild, and he was wild and undisciplined. Just a little young, goofy to me. Ain't no telling though. Ain't no telling because D'Angelo kind of soft. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know who the one that was, man. To be honest with you, but D'Angelo should have never let Bodie step to him like that. Anyway, like Bodie should have got disciplined for that. If you run in the pit shit and Bodie buck up with you like that, I understand he got that page, that message, and he had to dip out. You supposed to revisit that situation though, and make sure like you got to make an example for on Bodie for the rest of the people who might have been even thinking about bucking up like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I don't know what would have happened. Ain't no telling because D'Angelo's soft. He is older and stuff, more experienced, but he's soft. And then Bodie undisciplined and wild. So I ain't no telling what would have happened. But I know one thing: Bodie would have got murked afterwards though. Whatever if he had beat D'Angelo, he wouldn't gonna survive that. Uh, whatchamacallit, Avon couldn't let him.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You're right, and I agree. Either way, win or lose, D would have had to should have disciplined Bodie for stepping to him because all the other people under him are looking at that and peeping that. So yeah, you're right, Coach. What you think?
Yeah, I think the general is accurate. You know, I agree with him for the most part. I think the thing about it is, uh, Avon. I'm sorry, not Avon. D is a little bit older than Bowie, so I think that probably give him a little bit of a competitive advantage. But like he pointed out, like D is soft and Bodie. Wow, I mean, of course, Bodie made it clear, like for him, uh, punching Pat in the face, like Bodie, just a young savage. He really don't care. So he not worried about taking the L or taking a beating. So truthfully speaking, I know it might sound crazy. I think D was kind of in a no-win situation. First of all, win or lose, it wasn't going to end well for Bodie because I don't think they would have murked Bodie, but I think they'd have took like some ball bats or whatever, baseball bats or whatever, and beat him up like savagely, truthfully speaking. I mean, I don't think they would have deleted him, but I think they would have sent him a clear message. So if anything, it was best for Bodie that D got the page. So, but like 7A said, he should have revisited that situation. But truthfully speaking, I'm not gonna lie. I think if it came down to actual confrontation, I think Bodie probably would have got the better of him. That's why I think D was in a no-win situation because, from a from a from a teacher's perspective. In fact, I'm gonna use boxing, right? I know Kenny Porter always tell this story about Bud, how Bud is cut different. And, basically he would threaten the little youngsters and they would just fold and they would back down. But Bud was out there and he was ready for Kenny Porter. And he like, man, hey, bro, this little cat cut different. And I think Bodie was the same way, like in a wild, reckless, savage type of way. So he wasn't gonna back down from D. And that's why I think D was kind of in a no-win situation. If you lose to him, it make you look bad. And then if you lose to him, now Avon got to step in, a string or whoever, and they're gonna deal with Bodie. And they, like I said, they probably gonna take some ball bats or whatever and beat Bodie up. So either way the cut go, it worked out the best way it could for Bodie, because any other situation, it was gonna end bad for Bodie if he would have actually either he'd have got a beat down or he'd have got a worse beat down. Either or.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all perspectives. Um, Moving on. D'Angelo feels out of place when he takes his girlfriend to the fancy restaurant. Do you think he's insecure because he's a drug dealer or because he's black?
I think both. I think he's insecure for both. His experience has been limited, and to be honest with you, that's kind of on his mama, Avon, them fault. You know what I'm saying? Um, he should. If y'all got generational wealth, or y'all been hustling for generations, there's no reason why this dude ain't never been to a nice restaurant or seen some of the finer things in life and know how to conduct himself in both worlds. You know what I'm saying? He should have the ability to be a chameleon, and he should be able to come in and sit down. Like, to be honest with you, the same situation, the same thing that Stringer Bell had the ability to do, all of them should have been able to do. Avon too, and so D'Angelo, being like, I don't, you pick the restaurant, you take the girl there, and then you start whining about like she having a good time, and you the one messing up the mood, sitting there. You think they know? You think they know? Like, dude, shut. What the fuck you mean? You think they know? Who cares what they know? There's some of them people in there is criminals and creeps, and you don't know what they doing when they get home. So you worried
Right.
about that instead of sitting down enjoying your time with your woman. You sitting here spoiling the mood. You think they know and all this sort of stuff. Like, you didn't have to go there. Y'all could have went to the damn Applebee's or something. You the one trying to show off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
That girl would have been cool if they would have went to a pizza spot. Yeah, but you trying to be big dog and go somewhere else because you want to feel important. So you go there, then you get insecure because you see, you know what I'm saying? I think these people are doctors, and I think they're this and that. Whatever, man. You don't know what them people is. So, you know, and then he really made me mad at the end of that scene where, because he didn't know when they brought the cake over and they showed the samples that she was supposed to pick which one she wanted. He grabbed it and put it on and he grabbed the sample and gave it to her, and the guy said, no, this is just a sample. And he reached it on the bottom and gave him. So he had a little attitude about that, like, see, I don't belong here, bro. She didn't ask to come there. You brought her there. So that's why I don't understand. Like, am I missing something? It'd be different if she was begging you to come there, take her to that spot. But you took her there because you wanted to show off. So I don't understand why he whining. I just don't like D'Angelo. He's just a crybaby to me.
And it goes to what you were saying a couple of episodes ago and what you said recently. D'Angelo's soft. He just soft, man. It, like you said, ain't nobody told your ass to come to this, 5-star restaurant. Just sit there, eat, play it off. And then you talking about is all these white people around us, lawyers, and man, you got dirty politicians in there, child molesters, all that in there. So just shut up and eat. But Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the general is 100% accurate. Uh, I think he's insecure about both, and you know, the general said, a few episodes back is having that white supremacist mindset. You think, hey, I'm a D boy. He might be a doctor. He might be a lawyer. They better than me. And then when you realize, you know, when you see someone like Stringer who try to play in that world, man, they're just as criminal as you are. So in all actuality, it's just him being insecure, and he really has no reason to be because he doesn't know the other side. And like the general pointed out accurate, that's one thing I like. But the general on his Patreon, he was talking about this situation where this guy basically was talking about having multiple levels. And the general clearly has that. And like he pointed out, like Stringer Bell has that. He can, shake and move with big wigs, in a maybe like a business setting. And then on the flip side, he could kind of be amongst the D boys and, being a shot caller. So at the end of the day, Avon and Brianna, they should have given D'Angelo that type of balance from the standpoint of, I really don't blame Avon as much because all Avon know is the street way. So that's why he didn't have the foresight to realize, like, hey, D is not cut out for this. And as a result, since D is not cut out for this, we're going to have him do something else. We're going to have him work in the print shop. We're going to have him work in Orlando's. We're going to have him, like, do something else. So all he knows is the street way. So that's why he didn't have the foresight to realize, hey, D shouldn't be in the game. We're going to send him to school. We're going to do something else with him from a legal standpoint. So at the end of the day, that's just his insecurity more than anything. And salute to the brother, Stay Ready Mac. What's good,
Good
family?
brother,
What's
what's
good
up,
with you,
man?
bro? But
What's
yeah,
happening?
but I think D was just insecure for no real reason. Like 7A said, if you was gonna be uncomfortable in that environment, like why you didn't just take it to Applebee's or pizza spot or even McDonald's, a little hood chick like that, you could take her around the way spot, she's gonna be goo out with it,
Yeah, you can take her to a hole in the wall barbecue spot. She'll be good. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Next question. Johnny is upset about Bubbles for snitching. Is the no snitching phrase a way to brainwash people in the hood, or the way the game should be played? 78.
Well, definitely, if you part of the criminal enterprise, you shouldn't be snitching, because I think if you're gonna be out there committing crimes, you're gonna live by a certain code. You can't be telling, and once you get caught, a lot of people huff and puff, and yeah, I don't care. I'm about this life, and I'm about this and that. As soon as something don't go their way, they tell them. They either run into social media to tell, which is the same as snitching. Ain't no difference between calling the police or making a video. All right, so if you got beef with somebody and it don't work out, they jump you. How many times you have seen videos on social media, dudes on there after they get jumped? Man, they jumped me, man. They jumped me right over here, man. They got me. Yo, they got me. Okay, you calling the police. You testify to open court. The same thing. So you can't be doing that if you're gonna play the streets. And secondly, um, I think that to the other point, it is a way to manipulate the higher ups, the bosses, manipulate the youngsters by having a strict no snitching policy. But the thing is, the bosses will snitch on people in order to get themselves out of situations. That's how it's always been, going back since the beginning. They keep all the soldiers organized and loyal, saying don't snitch, and bet that in them. But then bosses snitch on they soldiers all the time. I mean, that's just what they do. Even Avon, when he got locked up, he snitched on the guard. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do.
That's true. That's true. And I used the Nicky Barnes example when we talked about this a few shows ago. So yeah, you're right, Coach. What you think?
Honestly, I think it's a way to kind of brainwash people in the hood. That's the reason I'm saying that. Because in my 13 plus years in education, well, closer to 14 at this point, like most of the schools I've been at have kind of been in urban environments. And I used to have to explain to these kids all the time. They used to make me sick. Like if one kid did something and I didn't catch who did it, I'm like, who did it? Oh man, I ain't no rat, I ain't no snitch. I'm like, y'all do understand no snitching is for people that's involved in criminal activity. I'm like, if you and I commit a crime together and I tell on you to get a reduced sentence, that's snitching. But if you are every average everyday citizen and you see somebody like uh, you know, doing your neighborhood dirty, somebody doing something to your family members, somebody wreaking havoc in your community, as a law-abiding citizen, is your duty to say, hey, he did that, he needs to go to jail. Hey, coach, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in ratting. I don't believe in snitching. And I'm like, all right, cool. You ain't got to snitch. I'm like, all right, you know what? So this is what we're gonna do. F it. Instead of us doing this activity I got planned for the day, F it. Until I find out who said it, ain't nobody gonna do nothing. So all y'all just sit there and shut the F up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why y'all have this code of the street so embedded in y'all? Just because y'all from these hoods. Like, bro, this is not criminal activity. And the thing about it is, if y'all tell, hey, such and such did it, y'all could just go play basketball or whatever we got planned for the day. And all the administration gonna give them is a slap in the wrist anyway. So if anything, by you saying, hey, you ain't gonna stitch on this person, all you doing is pissing me off in the process. So I don't understand like why y'all gotta be so, hey, I don't snitch, I don't rat. I'm like, all right, you know what? F it then. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Now what? Now, in rare instances, they'll be like, man, hey, F that. Hey, they'll tell and I'll take care of it. I'll let administration take care of it, whatever. But for the vast majority of the time, when they say they're not stitching, oh, hey, them kids, they adamant about it. They stand on their square. And like I say, I've been at mostly hood type schools, and I've literally taught pre-K all the way up to like seniors in high school. And when they say they're not stitching, they mean they're not snitching.
Yeah, you're right. And they done already before you even came in the room, they already threatened the nerd type dude. So he won't snitch. So yeah,
Well,
you're
no,
right.
but like 7 8 say, this is the crazy thing about it though, right? Now, the type of kid that's really hood, that all the rest of them respect, like, they ain't gonna say nothing on that dude there. Cause I guess they don't want no shake back. They don't want him to get revenge on him in any kind of way. But like
Oh, I see what you're saying.
the little square nerd type dude, oh
Ratatouille. Yeah.
oh yeah. Especially if they want to play basketball. I don't know what it is, but these black schools is like, they think the only sports that really exist is like football and basketball, and that's really it. Maybe dodgeball, maybe kickball. Salute to my brother Jay Good. Salute to Jay. Salute to your fam. But anyway, like that cat there, they'll tell on him, but like the real hood dude, oh no. And they ain't gonna say they'll throw the little square dude under the bus because they want to play basketball, football, whatever. And I'm like, bro, y'all some busters too. Y'all operate with double standards too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing I didn't respect with the whole, no snitching thing. Hey, if it's somebody like Jared here, I might snitch on him for 7 8. Oh, I don't want no smoke with him. I'm like, look, bro, you're gonna be that way, be consistent, be that way across the board. Don't pick and choose when you're gonna snitch and when you're not gonna snitch, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I've been to schools where they be like, hey, bro, we ain't telling no matter what. I'm like, you know what, bro? Till I get what I want. Hey, y'all ain't never playing. And then of course in some instances they might break or they might crack. But other than that, a lot of time they adamant about not snitching. I think it's just the way to brainwash the people in the hood, if you ask me.
Okay. Okay. Um, moving on. Should Deidre have known threatening Avon was going to end well for her?
Uh, she should have, but women is emotional, man. Women get mad, they get whatever, and they think they can just say stuff, and they don't think they don't think long term. They don't think 5 moves ahead. They just want to hurt you because they upset. So she should have known that. That's what every woman should. I always say this: a wise woman will know what buttons not to push. Women love talking about what button. Oh, I know his. I can push his buttons. Okay, But a wise woman gonna know what buttons not to push because, and we can talk about men being wild and stupid and emotional and all that stuff. Everybody got a certain button that you if you push it, it's gonna turn out bad for you. And women are masters of looking for that button and searching for that button, trying to find it. You know what I'm saying? And then see how far they can go, type of stuff. Not all women. Some women smart enough to know to leave it alone, but
Right.
you know what I mean. But it's a lot of women out there, especially in this uh, uh, new world we live in now. A lot of women out there that definitely try. But yeah, she should have known, in my opinion.
Okay, coach.
As usual, the general is 100% accurate. You know, you have so many women nowadays, like they don't have not like he said, not all, but there's a lot of them that have no impulse control, no discipline. They're extremely emotional, and somebody like Deidre, she seemed like she was just off the hook, just wild, off the chain, can't be controlled, can't be tamed, and she should have known, like, hey, bro, like you effing with Avon, like you barking up the wrong tree. Like, why you gonna threaten this dude with this? Like, bro, like, I mean, like he's like 7 8 said, you have to play chess and not checkers. You have to think 5 moves ahead. Even if you're playing checkers, play 5 moves ahead. But you threatening this dude, you should have known like that wasn't gonna end well for you. Like, when you're dealing with this type of guy, he a kingpin, he got multiple brothers. Like, but you won't be the only chick, you won't be the only chick he got, and you want him to only see you and no other chick. Like, come on, bro. Like, you should have known what you was getting yourself into. So she set herself up for failure in that instance. And that's the thing I can't stand, but not all, but some of these chicks, like, they want you to not have eyes for no other woman. Like, I only want you to see me. But then on the flip side, like, hey, when you want something, like, hey, nah, you want it too often. And I'm like, look, bro, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you're gonna give it to me as often as I want, you gotta accept the consequences that come with it. You can't have it both ways. So what is gonna be? So she seemed like she was one of them type of chicks. She couldn't handle what he had going on. She got emotional. She ran her mouth off, and she came up stinking because of that. You know what I'm saying?
True, and you can't tell me she didn't know that, especially in that area, Avon Barksdale, the biggest drug deal in the hood in the area. So you can't tell me she didn't know, there was gonna be,
Some
there was gonna be some
consequences for action.
backlash. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, and that's the thing about it, bro. Like, they be talking about these chicks how, hey, they want men that's emotionally intelligent. It didn't sound like she was emotionally intelligent for her to be able to just pop off and run off at the mouth. Dude, you know who you dealing with? Man, come on, bro. You can't talk to Avon that way, for one. And then second of all, like, when you're dealing with a guy like this, it comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these chicks that got all these babies for Future, or maybe have a bunch of babies for NBA Youngboy, or Nick Cannon, whoever. Like, these guys gonna deal with a bunch of women. So either you can handle that, either you can't handle it, or you can't handle it. If you can't handle it, then hey, just get you a square guy that don't garner that much attention from women. But a lot of these women, bro, they want their cake and be able to eat it too. You can't have it both ways. Either you're gonna eat the cake, or you just want the cake to sit there and look good. Which one it gonna be?
That's true. But moving on, uh, D in Orlando aren't happy Stinkum not getting 8%. Do you think? Now let me read that again. So D in Orlando aren't happy Stinkum now getting 8%. Do you think Avon isn't paying them enough, or they are mismanaging their money?
Um, I don't think they get paid enough. I always thought that, but um, I kind of in a way understand why Avon is doing what he's doing. A lot of people think that you gotta keep them guys at a certain level and keep them hungry, so keep them starving. So when you give them a little more, when you give them the food they're supposed to eat, they'll be appreciative and stuff. That's just an old way of thinking. Some cats think like that, but um, But the downside of that is what you got now. People talking and whispering. They start hating on each other, getting jealous of. Okay, well, Stinkum getting percentages, points on the pack, and but it also gives Avon the ability to manipulate. So now everybody knows Stinkum is getting points on the pack. Avon can come to D'Angelo like he did later on and say, hey, keep up good work. And we be talking about you getting points on the pack. So now you're giving him something to strive for. You know what I'm saying? When he should be getting that kind of money anyway. But that's just a game they be playing, man. But I think a lot of them guys underpaid. They get a couple $100 for all the work they do, moving thousands and tens of $1,000s worth of product, and they get a couple $100 a piece. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. You know what I mean? But but that's the game though. I mean, they was doing us like that when I was a youngster. You know what I mean? So I thought I was rich. You make it with $500 every Friday. You know what I'm saying? We might sell. We sit in the house. We might sell like just. This is back when they used to have spots. We lived in New York, and people would come to the door, and you just serving all day through the mail slot. You know what I mean? They drop their money through the mail slot. You give them the product all day long, and we selling. I don't know. Off the top of my head, what $75,000-$80,000 worth of product in a week, and then on Friday, between the six of us, he giving us all $500. We thinking we rich. We teenagers. We like, oh, we got 500. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then this is the manipulative stuff he would do. He would pay us in like $5 bills. Like $500 to $5 bills look like a lot of money. You know what I mean? So you sitting there like you holding the knot. You like, yeah, I'm paid. You know what I'm saying? You feeling good until you get older and realize like, bruh, like what is the percentage? If we sold $80,000 worth of product and he gave all us $500, like what is? Do that even register as a percentage? What is that? It's ridiculous. So yeah, man, that's how the game go, man.
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, it is, and like Kelly Thomas said in the chat, the most realistic show to this day. It is, it really is. But Coach, what you think?
Man, I think that was an excellent example the general gave. It kind of reminds me of like Suge Knight, the way he dealt with, the artists on death row. It's like basically he kept them like crack broke and starving, like like Bill said about Floyd, the general told me this yesterday. Everybody around you, butt ball broke and everybody struggling around you and nobody making it. A lot of people have that mindset of like, hey, if you keep everybody around you, you broken, you keep everybody around you struggling. Like 7 8 said, it kind of give you something to strive for. But the downside to that is now you got, you got Orlando and D, they on the side plotting about, setting up a side hustle, basically selling something outside of you. So, it's a manipulation tactic in terms of, to kind of keep you on the leash, this, that, and the third. But the downside to it is, you get blowback, and you get situations where you get the other side of it where you got Orlando plotting to set up like his own little side hustle and him messing up your liquor license. So at the end of the day, like it got to be some balance. You don't want them super balling out of control, but at the same token, you don't want them hurting to the point where they got to do something that they shouldn't do. And you know, like when I was at Southern, we had this philosophy class, and we had to read this book called The Communist Manifesto, and basically, one point communism was like, no more political system in the world, and basically it was talking about all the evils of capitalism, and it was pointing out like this right here, like this is a perfect example of like D was like bringing in like 20 racks, like he was setting like record high numbers in the courtyard. Like he was like, String was like, man, we ain't never brought in this much money in the low rises. So you would think instead of them like, all right, hey, we brought in 22 racks, we gonna give you like maybe 5 bands or something. That man, they getting this dude $500 and like 7 8 he thought he was like just balling. So at the end of the day, bro, like when you doing this, when you got your soldiers starving, like hey, now they thinking about plotting to come up with a side hustle.
Yeah, yeah, and the only thing about that is I don't think online you have to be smart to do something like that, especially if you're under, you're not on the level where you can come to the big boss and hey, I got something. You think I think we can, give me a little bit more money without stepping on your toes. But Orlando wasn't smart to do that smart. And we about to go into it with that. The next question. Uh, do you think Orlando was right about managing a strip club is overrated?
From his perspective, yeah, because for one, he wasn't getting paid, and for two, he was absolutely correct about like once you start smash. Look, I tell people this all the time. Like once you smash a few of them broads, you just smashed all of them. Like once you get to talking to them, and they all got the same sob story. It's very rare that you'll meet a girl who really trying to pay her way through school and she really in the 304. She doing this because she trying to. It's her last resort. That's very very rare, extremely rare. But most of the chicks got a story like that, and they lying, bro. They just a few drinks you'll find out the truth. They be acting all nice and they run a game on you, and then they get a little couple of them shots and they start feeling good, liquor coming in, and then they start showing you who they really are. If you pay attention, you will see it. So Orlando is just saying, like, dude, you ain't you like a kid in a candy shop or like a what I'm saying, like you on the outside looking in, right? Like, oh man, if I worked in the candy store, I'd be eating candy all day. Yeah, that's easy for you to say, but when you a person who grew up eating candy all day and you ain't got no motif, nah, bro, I'm sorry, I trade places with you.
I hear you. My thing, General, is yeah, he tired of the same old thing and the strip club. It's just if you're gonna do a business on the side, bro, and I know you don't want to, you bring it to Avon at least, because you're gonna end up somewhere. If you come off like you dirty or um shaving money, off the top or something like that, you're gonna be end up somewhere stinking.
Absolutely.
So I just think how he handled it, was dumb in my opinion. But as far as the question, yeah, if he used to, if he tired of the strip club and you know banging the same 304s, it's his experience. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Let me say this for just for the correction. Like when I'm talking about what he was talking about, I'm talking about what he was talking about with D'Angelo. As far as like D'Angelo was saying, like I thought D'Angelo was saying, asking him like, "You ain't in here smashing all these chicks. You must having the ball up in here." You know what I'm saying? And he telling him like, "Nah, bro, the money and all that." And then these chicks is, you know what I mean? These chicks is like running the daycare center, blah blah blah. So that from that perspective, I think he was right. Now, what you
yeah,
saying for sure, when he was unhappy with the pay and Avon and stuff like that, just being the front man, he should have definitely said something like, "Hey man, I got to eat a little bit here too." You know what I mean? You know what I
hmm
mean? Like, he should have told him like, "Man, look, I'm being a team player here. Just you know what I mean? I got this amount of bills every month. I got to be able to take care of." And that's Avon's fault too, because Avon should make sure your people like that gotta be taken care of. Like dudes
yeah,
like Orlando should have been taken care of, man.
facts, facts. Yeah, and I was just adding on to because what you were saying was very, um, basically spot on. But I was just adding how he just handled, just to get the extra business on the side, just irritated me in this season because he could still be alive if he would have just, even if he didn't want it to, he would just brought it to Avon first. But Coach, what do you think?
All right, before I get into my answer, salute to the brother Hamza S. Man, salute fam. He said salute Coach 67, 78, Jared, and Chat. Man, we appreciate you, Hamza S, coming through and showing some
Salute.
love.
Salute.
What's
Man, I'm not
happening?
gonna lie, both of y'all spot on, 100% accurate from the standpoint of, you know, I I'm not gonna lie, I kind of see it from D'Angelo's perspective. Like, if you're on the outside looking in, and you like, man, I don't, you running this, managing this club, man, you ought to be ODing on Coochie up in this place. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, Orlando made, he came up with a brilliant comeback. Like, hey, man, you dealing with these chicks for a week and all their problems and all their nonsense, whatever the case may be. Like, everything that glitters isn't gold. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, over the years, I've talked to guys. Like, you see this chick, you're like, man, she bad, man. She extremely pretty. She fine. She got a body that won't quit. Like, she looked like, Melissa Ford back in the late 90s. Man, she bad. And this dude be like, man, bro, she ain't all that. Like, she high maintenance. She come with a lot of headaches, a lot of stress, a lot of drama. She don't do this and she don't do that. Like, bro, on the outside looking in, it might look great, but it ain't all it's cracked up to be. And even though I haven't experienced it from Orlando's perspective, everything I've been everything I've been told and heard about those type of situations, he sounds spot on and 100% accurate. And I think Jared accurate from the standpoint of, like, if you're Orlando and you're looking for an additional stream of income, I don't think like hustling on the side is the right move. And if you do, like, you need to step to Avon first and try to talk to him. But I'm not gonna lie, Avon kind of, I don't think he seems as unreasonable. Like, because a few shows back we brought up LL in Too Deep with Omar Epps, and we talk about how there was at the table and Jay Reed gave him a couple $100 a piece, and they thought that was big money, and he was like, well, why don't y'all ask God for a raise? And basically they were scared because of the way he was dealing with people. He was ruling with like an iron fist. And I think Orlando, that might have been part of the reason why he didn't step to Avon, because maybe he saw the way Avon was operating. And he like, man, I don't need them kind of problems. But the problem is, in the long run, you even have a worse problem on your hand by not telling him that you selling on the side, maybe potentially dirtying up his liquor license. So at the end of the day, I think he should have not stepped on Avon's toes, but he should have just tried to pull Avon aside and be like, hey man, like I'm not making enough on this. Like, can we come up with a different arrangement where I get a little bit more money or more money? Because I got bills that are this, that are that. So I think if he did it in the right way, especially with the situation with Cuddy in later seasons, we see that Avon is a reasonable person. So I think he should have just stepped to Avon like that, as opposed to, trying to do his own thing on the side.
That's true. That's definitely true. And Hamza S got a good point in the chat as well. He said Orlando was getting punked and roughed up too. He was tired of the situation, but handled it wrong in my opinion. Always felt that always felt they should have treated Orlando better. But hindsight is 2020. Yeah, good point. Uh, next two questions. So, do you think the cops would have cracked the beeper code?
The beeper code. I think that, yeah, with a. I mean, they was. I can't remember what else happened. But I gotta watch some more episodes on the first season. I can't remember, but I know that. Yeah, man. But they was on that. Look, they was on it, man. If you let you leave it to what's the brother
Freeman,
name?
Freeman, Freeman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you leave it to Lester. Man, Lester gonna listen. Lester gonna solve the JFK assassination. Lester gonna, Lester gonna find out what Jimmy Hoffa had, all of that. So yeah, they was on them though.
yeah. I agree. I agree. And I forgot because I watched the last night. I was watching, just to refresh for this today. I watched the episode, but on the beeper code, I had because I was watching and I was doing stuff, so I forgot how Avon and them didn't allow them to break the beeper code. But
Well, no, what happened was, Presbalewski, he liked to do crossword puzzles and that type of thing.
mhm,
So what he did was he took the phone and he made copies of it on a copy machine.
right,
And he kind of figured like all of these guys, from an academic standpoint, they didn't go that far in school. Like somebody like we being only went as far as like the sixth grade. So he was like, it can't be that complex from a mathematical standpoint. It can't be no math involved. So since he likes to like solve crossword puzzles and that type of thing, he realized what it was. All they did was just take the numbers on the phone where they situated, and they just jump it to 5 every time they do a number. So that's why he was able to realize, like, if it's this number, you jump it to 5. Really, it's like 3. You know, so that's how he was able to figure out the code. He figured out it wasn't that complex. But I think, you know, when you have a unit like that, sometimes you got to have some luck, because truthfully speaking, I think had he not been the screw up he was, and had he not been so like good with crossword puzzles and that type of thing, even though it's not that complex, I think somebody like Lester Freeman would have figured it out. But anybody else in the unit, I don't know, did have figured it out. But since that's what he specialized in, I think they should have came to the realization like this dude don't ever need to be in the street on the street again. They just need to keep him in an office, like doing this type of work. You know what I'm saying? Him being on the street is not for him. That's what he kept screwing up at. So yeah, I think if you got cops like Lester Freeman and Presbalewski, yeah, I think that eventually they would figure it out. But I think the bigger picture, they should have realized that Presbalewski was better in that type of situation as opposed to being on the street.
okay, all right, all right. And last question, fellas. What do you think about the episode? What was the most important part of the episode?
It was a good episode. I liked the episode. Um, I think that the key part about that episode to me was um, Wallace. I think that was the episode where Wallace called D and told him that they they spotted one of
Brandon.
Omar's. That was the right episode, right?
Yeah, they spotted Brandon at the end.
Yeah, they spotted Brandon. So when Wallace, Wallace and D'Angelo, that was key for them because that moment right there kind of put the icing on the cake for me for them two not being built for what they doing out there in the streets. That was the beginning of the end for me.
Yeah, especially and mine was I can say honestly say with D at that restaurant. Well, and you explained it perfectly, General, about how him just uh he didn't ask the girl if she wanted to be there. He just in there just you know just low self esteem, and he just ain't built for what he doing, man. So like you said, that just put the icing on the cake. Yeah, yeah, D gonna snitch. I remember me first watching. I said D gonna snitch or something. Something gonna happen. So yeah, that was the beginning of the end for me in this episode.
Yes,
What
indeed.
about you, Coach?
I'm not gonna lie. I think it was a good episode. Uh, to me, in my opinion, I think things start to pick up. Not necessarily from an action standpoint, but in terms of them starting to put the piece together in terms of the case. And I think in terms of like the case itself, I think most of the episode is relevant and important to that. But I think the real key piece was when when Bunk was able to get the ballistics back and they were able to tie like the bullets and the gun that deleted Deidre Crescent to like other cases. They really started to put the piece to the puzzle together in terms of Avon and and a Barksdale organization. I'm not saying it's the beginning and end because really the first episode was when the domino effect started, by D having the case that he had. But in terms of them really starting to pick up steam with the case, I think the ballistics coming back and them tying it to the Deidre Crescent case, it's like, bro, like, they really started to get the ball rolling in terms of the investigation.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Beautifully said, fellas. That's all the questions. So I'm gonna pass it back on to Coach to wrap everything up.
Man, we appreciate everybody that came through, check out this particular episode. Uh Dwayne Price, salute to you. Salute to all right, Antoine X Davis. Uh who else we got? Jack Johnson, Stay
Salute to
Ready
all
Mac.
y'all, man.
Salute to y'all. Who else we got? Of course we got my brother Jay Good. Salute to Jay Good. We got Kelly Thomas. Salute. And salute to my brother Hamza S. We appreciate everybody that came through, that's rocking with us, that showed some love. We appreciate everybody. Uh, in terms of this particular episode, we appreciate y'all. It was a good episode, in my opinion. My brother, 7A Sports TV, the general of this phenomenal organization. Tell everybody where they can meet you and see you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, brothers, man. You can catch me right here on YouTube at 78 Sports TV. You can catch me on Patreon at patreon.com/78 Sports TV. You know what I'm saying? And you can also catch me on the No 304 Show. We'll be live tomorrow. No 304 Show right here on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with the brother Blu-ray Fitness. Y'all go check out my brother, the General. Man, I appreciate you, bro, giving me your time, giving us your time. We appreciate you to the highest general. And my
Yes,
brother, Jared 11 Green. Tell the people where they can meet you and see you.
yes. Right here on YouTube. As you can see, how my name is on our YouTube handle, Jared 11 Green. I am ahead of a show called Southern Baller Show. Try to have it every Sunday at 3:30, but life be lifing. So you can catch us at around that time, 3:30. We talk about sports, football, mainly football, and have the a lot of LDBC brothers on the panel, like Joe Town, JB, Coach himself, Brent Fox, Jay Good, maybe stop by, or come on the panel. So yeah, just come check me out.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all gentlemen, giving me time on y'all Saturday morning. And, like my brother Jared Living Green always said, we the individuals really pushing the football aspect of the LDBC, the Lions Den football community, the aspect of it. But, we appreciate everybody that came through, showed love. Stay tuned because I got another video dropping a little bit later on in the day, and we're gonna try to give y'all episode 47 of Bayou Sports Talk. So we appreciate everybody that came through, that shows some love. Happy New Year to everyone. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal day. We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.
Peace.
Peace.